We're here in the Hollywood Hills with Dante from the LA Inner Circle chapter. Just moved into town recently, and today I invited RSD Inner Circle LA members to do an interview from the RSD Inner Circle Facebook groups. If you want to check it out, rsnation.com/groups. Thanks so much for coming down. I'm looking forward to the interview.
I'm looking forward to the interview. So I just want to throw it out, like when you first launched, what was that, like a year and a half ago?
On YouTube?
Yeah, on YouTube.
Okay.
When you launched like your YouTube channel, everyone was just so curious, like, okay, who's Nick? What's this gonna be? Like, you know, like I'm from DC, so DC Inner Circle, not the same as LA. And it was just crazy watching like how you progressed, like how you launched like Founders Club, because so many people come from the side of like game burnout, or like they're insecure about whether they're gonna make it in game. But there's so many of us that if you do game, you're probably somewhat business minded, and that's where like a lot of our questions weren't answered, because, you know, Tyler's just so creative. Like so some of us aren't the creatives, and we are just, you know, entrepreneurs. And it was just so interesting seeing you finally show that side of like just being able to apply game to business. And
you consider yourself an entrepreneur too?
Yeah, I'm trying to start a media agency, actually. That's why I came here.
Oh, nice.
But
what kind of media?
Social media, but I really just like the content creation and like producing things. Like I want to have like how Tyler is so creative. I want to find them. Like I love those people that have those ideas and those concepts, and I want to build the systems for them.
We have a lot of knowledge about social media, and I actually view what we did is built a social media agency as well. It's just that our influencers are about self-improvement topics. Other people are about entertainment or hot chicks and boobs. So, yeah, if you have questions about that, I can answer that too.
So to kick it off, you like when it comes to networking, it's like unreal, and a lot of people ask you questions about it, but I want to know, like, it's almost like a gene inside of you, like because I was the same way. Like I love throwing parties. Like that's why it was so hard coming here and like having to start over, because I'm used to being Dante. Like people come to my house, people come to my parties, we throw events. But like, where does that come from in you? For me, I was weird and somewhat antisocial, but I just loved people, so I forced it. But where did that come from? Like,
probably my childhood. When I was an elementary school student, I remember one of the things that I was really proud that my parents did for me is that when I was a kid, for an hour or two, once a year, they would invite everyone I went to school with and rent out a video game arcade and give everyone free unlimited video game play. And it was a party. It was my birthday party, and it was epic. And I always thought that was super cool. And when I went to boarding school, I started from scratch. I didn't really have the same kind of environment. However, one thing it did do differently was because I was actually having to stay with the same people all day. I had to force myself to socialize with all sorts of people. Where I'm in a school, I could develop less deep relationships and deep relationships with a few people. But I was living in a house, kind of like a fraternity house. And when I was in that environment, I was forced to really get deeper. Now, I always liked the idea of the party environment. I mean, when I was 12, I went up to the owner of a local bar that had concerts. I was thinking, you know what, I'm a kid, I'm 12 years old, I would love to help promote you. You know, I see that you have flyers. What if I took your flyers and your newspapers? And I got this idea because I had a friend who's a paper boy. But I said, well, my friend, he's a paper boy, he delivers papers to people. What if I took your flyers and newspapers and I delivered it to every Tower Records, every CD store, every music store in town, and made it so they're showcasing your newsletters on a regular basis? If I did that, would you let me into your bar and listen to the bands perform? Because, yeah, of course, I'll even let you hang out backstage. I did that. And it was a college bar. And at the time, they were the hottest place in town. They were showcasing Bush, the Deftones, Korn, really famous bands, Cake, local bands too. I was in Sacramento. And I thought that was awesome. When I was 18, I was using a fake ID to rent out bars and clubs in New York City for my underage friends, or going down to the Princeton University and giving a taxi driver $20 and having him buy cases of beer so I could share with college students.
And this was in it?
This
was all just
teenager, yeah.
Just sheer in it intuition? Like you just knew to do this?
No. I mean, I was thinking, look, this worked for me when I was a elementary school kid with the video games. If I want to build networks of friends, maybe this is what you do. That's also the reason why I got into pickup. Because I went in college, thought, hey, this is kind of working. Let me just throw epic parties. So when I was in college, my first 2 weeks in college in the dorms, I was having crazy parties. I was spending hundreds, if not over $1,000 a day, buying booze, having kegers in dorms, and inviting people. Then I went to renting out supper clubs, 3-story supper clubs, and having masquerade parties and inviting celebrities and renting out 50-foot motor yachts. And I partied every day my freshman year in college. So hard that I was drunk pretty much the entire time. And I also felt my life was getting out of control. So I joined the military. I joined the Air Force. I was in the U.S. Air Force Reserves Officer Training Corps, 4 years. And I thought it was awesome. Get my life straightened out, get some balance. I continued to throw parties, but it was part of a fraternity. So they were throwing parties with my help. However, even though I was known as like the party guy, kind of like you, like house parties, I still do that today, like once a month. It wasn't necessarily what got attraction. I wasn't having this awesome dating life because of the parties. I had a lot of friends. People introduced me to people. Girls were interested in my parties. They were interested in meeting people, but they weren't necessarily interested in just me. Because I threw parties, they were interested in going to my parties. So I wanted to learn the pickup skills and what was causing attraction. So what I started doing is I started inviting guys who were really good at picking up girls to have dinner with me. I said, hey, I want to treat you to dinner. And they'd share me your ideas about helping me pick up these girls. Then I got into the forums and I found the guys who were doing that. And I started learning cold approach because some of my fraternity brothers were studying that. And that kind of grew from there.
You said your fraternity brothers.
They had access to these forums and classmates. It was called MASF, the Moderated Adult.Seduction.Fast Forums. They don't exist anymore because it was text-based forums that had no pictures, no images, and was basically kind of like going on to an internet news group, which is basically the internet without Windows, you know. Now I was a nerd, so I was using Unix operating systems for emails and Archie for internet searching before Windows browsers like Google existed. So I had access to stuff. I knew how to look up stuff. But what was unique about my approach was I thought it'd be cool to reach out to people in real life. So I would reach out to people, meet up with them in real life and said, hey man, like Zippity Dragon, I met up with Yahoo Boomerang and Pickup Wizard, and we went out to the bars and clubs together, and I'd like to meet up with you. I'm coming to your city. I read your field report about this. Would you want to meet up? And they'd be like, yeah, sure, let's grab a drink. Let's go to the bars, let's pick up some girls together. And those guys who were really good, I stayed in touch with, and that's eventually the people that ended up being the original staff of RSD.
Okay, so going into like mentorship and like, because I really want to know like where RSD is going. Like y'all doing rap. It's so interesting that the movie's coming out, but
I got my rap coach. I got him a big house in Vegas, 3-story house on a country club, and focused as a music studio. And I flew in famous musicians there, like 808 Mafia's Perps and other musicians, famous Grammy Award-winning singers, music industry CEOs. I'm going to organize a concert, my billionaire friend Tony Hsieh's home, and kind of showcase some of the music we were creating for an RSD musical to be performed on stage. And now we're going in all sorts of cool directions with entertainment. It's exciting stuff.
Full scale music.
I mean, a lot of the networking I did in the pickup world worked just as well in the entertainment world. So I was able to use those skill sets and apply the networking and smoothing that you do with cold approach pickup to Hollywood pickup, Hollywood entertainment.
So how literal was it? Like, did you actually just find people's numbers, call them before you had any idea?
I saw you picking up girls. I thought you're amazing. What, can I treat you to dinner and talk about your stories about picking up girls? They're like, yeah, of course, let's do it.
So this stuff.
Can I buy you a drink? Let me show you some ideas. And I do it on a regular basis, and they became my wingman.
Were you explaining RSD to people? Like when you first...
This is before RSD existed.
Oh, you were.
This was like
far ahead
5 years before RSD existed.
Okay, that makes more
sense. RSD was created in 2002.
because you had been doing this?
I mean, I was doing this when I was in high school as a teenager.
Oh, so even on the mentor side, like
I was approaching
everything. You were
like
always
the captain of the basketball team in
Okay.
high school. And I was like, yo, I need some advice about picking up girls. Now that service was a service I wish was created. If RSD existed, I would be a client. It exists now, so you're lucky you got that advantage because we put the key pieces together for you. I had to pick the time to network and get people to put the pieces together. The resources already exist. And if we had these YouTube channels, I'd be watching every second, watching them again and again, transcribing it, getting every program, no doubt. Yeah.
The networking, that was amazing. Like how you got the mentorship. Like the business side, you have Founders Club, so I kind of don't even want to ask so many questions. Buy Founders Club for real. But then the relationships, like they're like how because you like even just when I first got here, like you answered my questions before I even got to do this. Like you're so engaging. How do you manage those relationships? Like I feel like you have to know so many people. Like how do you do that? Like,
I have a phone that is organized specific to cities and specific to specific things. So I could say golf, dinner parties, might say golf and dinner parties, Vegas, than the name of the person. And I use that so that if I'm organizing a dinner party, I'm like, oh, dinner party. Here's a guy I want to invite. Let me just text everyone that has dinner party and just send a mass text. Invite everyone.
very just structured.
Like, hey, I want to invite someone to golf. Let me text this guy. If he doesn't respond within an hour, let me invite the next guy. I did the same thing with girls. Girls that want to ask out for dinner or go to a party with me and a large group of other girls. Massive list. I mean, I remember Stephen Marbury, he's a basketball player, had a house right down the street from us, walking distance, called the Starbury Mansion. So I invited 2,000 girls. I texted a girls list. I was able to create a list called Girls. Now I had 2,000 girls on my phone. I was going out, inviting every girl I met out to be added to a party list. I said, hey, I'm a VIP promoter. Now, that meant I was promoting me going out to a bar and club and they wanted them to come with me. So I'm a VIP promoter.
I get it.
So I invited these 2,000 girls to go to this party. And 200 girls showed up at Phyllis Stephen Marbury's house. He was very appreciative.
I can see why you would be.
So things like that, that's power, you know. That's the network. So I spent so much time though on this social life. Most people can't do that, but you could work towards it. I mean, I was so into networking when there was a dinner invite. I would say for like 1, 2, or 3 years, like yes to every dinner invite. So if it was like multiple dinner invites in the same night, I'd show up at each one, wait 15 minutes. And in LA, you have to drive like an hour from place to place, but I'd still do it. Because I want to be known as somebody that if you invite me out, I appreciate it. I appreciate you. And so you show that appreciation. That's a gift in and of itself. That's value.
The word I was just going to ask.
Yeah. I mean, basically you just show that you respect other people. You're a good person. You're a solid individual. You do what you say. That's huge value. Most people aren't that. Most people are flaky and reliable and can't be trusted. You know, or at least that's what people think. Maybe it's though that they just haven't shown that side of themselves to you. Maybe they don't know also that you're the kind of person that's gonna want to just give value to other people. See, so many people, they get into a selfish frame. You know, there's a guy I used to work with who was always in it to himself. He viewed the only thing that's valuable in this world is money for himself. And you know, so when I recently fired, you know, so basically, those kind of people, you just got to get out of your life. I had energy leeches, people that were very negative, always push you down, but they're loyal. I sort of get rid of those people too because I want people to have a positive attitude. You want trust. So people who I want in my life have 3 qualities. It doesn't matter how much money they have or what have you, but they have 3 qualities, which is they're positive, trustworthy, and they're loyal. That's all I look for.
That would accomplish a lot because, you know, so many people, like, even just me coming to LA, so many people just kept setting precedents, like people are taking, or people are gonna be manipulative, or people are gonna be negative, but I didn't see that side. I was
You have that in every city. It's just that you have more people that are like that because you have more people overall. That's probably the same percentage in one city as is another overall. I think that humanity is very similar across all cultural bounds. I mean, I've traveled now to 110 countries, and people are always like, how is pickup different in this place and this? Yeah, there's cultural differences. But the thing is, overall, humanity is very similar around the world. Whether it's the Middle East or the Western world, whether it's Russia, India, what have you. You know, there's good people, there's bad people. People want the same things in life.
So a really big one. My dad he raised me like I had to file an LLC the first time I was like 11. Like
you had to file an LLC?
Literally,
like a company?
Yes,
when
he
you were
put
11.
me straight into business. Yeah, it was
I
like
didn't even know that was
LLC. No, the full, like he made me go through everything. Like what was it?
Is he an attorney?
Yeah, no, he actually does. Well, he was a business consultant for a while.
Okay.
Like back then, that might have been when he.
And he's an entrepreneur now.
Actually, no, he works in the White House now. But
really?
Yeah.
Oh, awesome.
Bunch of kids, bunch of stuff. So he left the business side alone.
Wow, creating an LLC when you were 11. That's pretty cool.
I started investing at 12. Like
really?
I got Capital One investing, share builder plan, and started.
Wow, I didn't even know that was legal. I mean, one of my friend's kids, his son is 15 years old. And I'm afraid of giving him $5 as being accused of breaking child labor laws. You know, so I mean, the fact that you create an LLC, that's pretty impressive. I mean, yeah, kudos.
But it was even more so because like the same. I was pulled in. I'm not a natural or anything, but I was pulled into game as a natural because I've always had girls around me. Like it was more like social circle, but just naturally because I like talking. I never shut up. So I was always fine with girls and I was always fine with business. So even on that side, I've never been worried. Like my dad, he gave me the hemp game. He gave me the game like the same time at the LSE and investing. I was reading books like that at like 11, 12. Like I was just raised inside of almost like game and business. But a lot of people, they don't have that background. A lot of people have no idea what I'm talking about. I probably sound crazy to them. And the actual question is, for someone that's like me moving to LA, I'm just overconfident, like, oh, it's fine, I can do this. But a lot of people, like I said, there's that business burnout, not just that game burnout. And maybe it's a mindset thing, maybe it's a thing, but like literally, what do people do when they first move to a new city? Like there's people coming from like
first of all, I want to point out that you just proved that the White House studies pimp game, which is awesome. And now, going back to your question, what do people need to do when they first move to a city? Actually, one of my friends that I've known for well over a decade, he was asking me a very similar question, because I actually think that's one of my strongest skill sets, because I was so afraid of moving to a new city and having a bad start, because when I went to boarding school, I didn't really know a lot of people. I was always working so hard, studying so hard. I was that kind of student. And I didn't really have the soul circle that I really wanted to have, so I went to college, and the first thing I did was focus exclusively on that, to the point where my grades suffered so badly while I was on probation, which is basically if you don't get out of probation or get your grades the following semester, you're expelled from school. You know, and I mean, I consider myself an overall academically inclined person. I've been in college for 15 years in many good colleges. You know, Harvard, Cornell, University of Wisconsin, USC.
That's amazing.
I think that one of the reasons why I was willing to sacrifice my academics to focus on that, because of fear, the soul circle not being what I wanted it to be. And so what I did, the first thing I wanted to do was learn how to get a soul circle. And I did that through parties. I did that through joining every possible student organization, whether it was the Democrats, the Republicans, or the dance club for modern dance, or the dance club for ballroom dance and swing and Lindy Hop, whether it was for the military. I applied for the Air Force, the Army. I trained with the Navy and the Marines. I trained in all kinds of sports. I tried out for the lacrosse team, the soccer team, the football team, and the ice hockey team. Now, I didn't commit myself to all those things. I would just see what I liked and figure out what kind of people I wanted to be around. I eventually was the captain of my hockey team. I stayed out of politics. I like the parties that politicians throw, but not be involved with the politics as much. You know, I care about causes, but I built my own custom soul circle from the people I wanted to hang out with. And I loved the fact there's already existing infrastructure that I could use. Of course, I built my own as well. I didn't want to be reliant on that. So I had regular gatherings, regular dinner parties, luncheons. I invite tons of people out again and again and again. So I became the source where people would message me, say, hey, what's going on tonight? What are you up to? And I would invite people out on a regular basis. So even if they didn't ask, they knew that there was something to do. You know, I think that's also why I created a club. It was a group. We even had our own name. We were called the Goodfellas. And that Goodfellas is the core group of people that party together, like a core, like RSD in RSD Nation.
Yeah.
And RSD Nation for us was a group that we called the Red Rose Society, where I basically invited every one of the dorms, hottest girls or cool people or people who had interesting personalities or things going on I read about in the college newspaper. I would create a newsletter and I'd deliver messages to them, invite them to parties on yachts and nightclubs and different things. I was spending a lot of time, but I also built a team of volunteers and interns that would work for me, even when I was 18, just for the purpose of socializing. And it was great. Some of these people are still my friends today, from the Goodfellas and from the Red Rose Society.
You built a lot of good relationships from stuff like that.
Yeah, and you don't have to just do it in a college environment. When I first moved to LA, I was trying to find the people that were really tapped in. So I was networking with club promoters, the guys at the door, just trying to understand this world, this industry.
That's what I was gonna say. One more question for, I don't wanna say them, but I'm trying to give value. So for a lot of people, like specifically, once again, with that, like just came to LA, like nightlife, like I already had somewhat of an in, so it's different for me, but people who just, maybe they're hard cases, but they really wanna build a business and they really wanna network. Like you're, I can't even explain it. Like you're so advanced, and even like Luke, like trying to understand social, it's so advanced that I can relate to a lot of people that they can't even understand what you're saying because it's so advanced. So like very beginning first step. Like when you say something like meeting a promoter and networking, are you saying like literally just find out close?
I see a promoter at the door and say, hey man, I want to get into a position where I'm just like you. I'd love for you to maybe have lunch with me. Maybe I could buy you lunch tomorrow or buy you a drink sometime. Can we exchange numbers and meet up? I really respect you a lot. And I would do that. I mean, I was the kid though, who back in the day before Google, we had the Yellow Pages phone book. If I wanted to learn from an inventor or find out what an attorney does, I would reach out, find a random person, call them on the phone and say, hey man, I see that you're an inventor. Now, I'm a 16-year-old kid going to the boarding school down the street. I'd love to take you out to lunch and just talk to you about what an inventor does. Would you be cool with that? My treat. Whatever you want, whatever restaurant you want.
That's great. And it's crazy because you know, I love following you guys, like Gary Vee. Like it's the same principle of like give value and just make it happen for yourself.
Yeah, I mean, if you just understand how everyone works in general, just think and empathize with the fact that if somebody invited you to lunch and did that to you, would you say no? So think about that in the same position. Whether you're talking to a hot girl or a billionaire CEO, both could change your life, but so can you change theirs.
I have to end it on you. Like I really wanted to just, you know, ask a lot of beginner questions, but I have to end it on you. Okay, so you, RSD, oh my God, you're the CEO. I'm even talking to you right now. This is awesome. But like the rap thing, you know, I love rap. That's just my thing. I love game and like I love events and throwing stuff. Like I can't even imagine where you're trying to go. So like, do you have a legit set end goal, or are you're just branching out in so many different ways and you're just trying to?
No, we have a very coordinated goal. So I mean, the core business is our core focus, my core focus, and almost all my time. When I talk about how I'm investing time in the infotainment and entertainment world, in the last year, I was spending over 40 to 80 hours a week just on that. Now it's the exact opposite. So basically, I'm spending the minority of my time focused on that while I'm building the core of our company. And the reason why is because I also have a system of team members that are also helping me build that business line along with everything else I'm focusing on. But my skill sets are most needed in our core company. I believe very firmly that as attention spans get smaller, infotainment is going to be more powerful and more necessary in terms of quality. I mean, look at video quality. We've gone from a situation where standard definition camera will be looked down upon where you can't even look at it. Now we're using 4K cameras, and this year we're upgrading to 6 and 8K cameras. And as we continue to push the boundary there, we're going to VR. Instead of just having a seminar, we might have to perform in front of you with celebrities. Instead of inviting people out to dinner parties, you might have to fill it with beautiful models. Instead of just having content and boot camps where you could go out with us, we might have to be doing that at elite parties when we invite you to, I mean, basically you have to like always upgrade it. So I mean, the idea of systems like film, I liked it because it could be scale. Well, basically RSD consists of people like me. I'm a doctor of infotainment, and so is everyone in RSD, and everyone who wants to survive, they have to be that person as well.
Literally, yeah, no, that's
Every business has to be, not just an information
content,
company.
just people
Every human
really
has
want
to
to
be.
consume. Like,
I mean, I have friends that are just teenagers that are excited about promoting themselves, and they're basically acting in the same way as a journalist on a mainstream broadcast network, filming important aspects of the news and what's going on in their life. And if people are doing that as a teenager, it's going to change the way the news has power over people to decentralize. And I am very happy to see that. And as a result, more likely the truth's going to get out there, and those people that are offering the value in society will reap more of the benefits.
It's the only way that it can happen. Like, even babies just having sheer like consciousness now on little YouTubes and just going around like the next generation would not fall for like fakeness. Like, you really are gonna have to be authentic.
I mean, I'm now in my late 30s, and so I have friends that are mothers and fathers, and their kids have an iPhone at age 3. You know?
You know, so cell phone until I was like 14. It's crazy.
Well, yeah, I mean, this is technology that's new, but it's something that's now available to everyone. It's cool.
So, a selfish question that I didn't want to ask, and time's almost up, so I just have to throw it in. Like, the business side, once again, like I could just, it's just who you are to like connect, to build, to create. But was there like a moment, like a click almost, when you were just like, all right, you know, I got game. Was it like because of the wife, or was it like what really locked in on that? I'm gonna grow this business. Like, when you really were like, okay, I'm the business side of RSD.
I mean, RSD as a business side was a requirement because I signed to pay for large payments at a multi-million-dollar mansion in the Hollywood Hills to live and party on. And I thought we could just put programs and people to sign up, but it actually requires a massive machine, an army of people doing marketing, sales, customer service, phone calls, finance, accounting, business operations, and managing it. It was very upsetting, very angry, because I became very angry because everyone else is partying. The instructors are partying, and I'm wanting to party too. But instead, I had to focus on that. And as the business grew, it was even more, and it turned into a company. It was totally organic. It was totally unexpected.
What's something that you literally just like you want people to bring up, or you want people to ask you, like literally just, you could just say it. Like, what's something that you want to be able to say, or a question that you want to answer, like in any way or shape or form? Like, what's something like that that's you just been waiting to be asked but hasn't been? Or,
you know what? I think that's one of the most interesting ways of thinking about questions that I've been asked. That's such an interesting question. The way that question is framed. I really appreciate that. You know, that's really cool. You know, I think a lot of people, when I watch the news, will ask similar questions, but I like the way that's framed. Is the mindset of even the question itself is really cool, because what you said was, what's a question that you wish someone was going to ask you? Now, similarly, I've been asked by journalists, like television stations. They'd say, what is something that, or I've asked other people, what is something that I haven't brought up that would help people in dating, or this and that, or like, tell me like, tell me something, but it's general, but you specifically like explain like your intention behind it, and it was like a good intention, and it's almost the exact same kind of open-ended question where I could answer anything. It's just that you did it from like a unselfish point of view. I think that's cool. I think one of the things that I like when I typically do interviews is to share with people about the most important thing that RSD does, which is to deliver the most powerful, high-value content that we could possibly deliver, and putting all of our effort into that, to the point where it's not about the money. We put so much into it that we're willing to go overly into debt all the time just to make sure the quality exceeds that, with the expectation, though, that the content is just so sick that the company will survive. It's still how we operate today, for better or for worse, especially because Tyler makes sure that happens. It's funny because I remember Tyler was at the World Summit in Vegas, and he said, what do you think that I invest the most in my life into? And I think he was expecting to talk about like self-help or pickup or whatever. And then someone said, video cameras. He's like, oh, actually, that's probably the truth. You know, we spend so much money just on quality of this very expensive equipment to get stuff out there to hit and influence as many people as possible. It's interesting because most people don't realize what the machine looks like behind it. It's a very powerful, expensive machine. It requires the support of a really amazing team that is face to us. And it's many, 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 many people. I mean, we have hundreds of people that have interned, almost 1,000 people who have volunteered, and in payroll, you know, it's close to 100 people there. And these are people that are working hard. It's not just the 10 people you might see on YouTube. And to know that. And it's also the fans you'll see in the videos. We do free tour because they also are now helping us create content to hit people out there. They ask the questions or interactive exercises. So when people say, you know, I'm part of RSD Nation, that means you're actually contributing and adding value to the community itself. And so that's another reason why pretty much everyone we work with is a part of RSD Nation first, as opposed to us focusing on recruiting at a random university like a typical company. We focus on that as our heart, because if they don't have that love for what we do, it's not going to jive well in the long run. It's possible, but they'd have to learn it. We have to get them into RSD Nation first. And it's a lot easier to get people to move in a deeper way and contribute more to our community from already having been involved in making them learn how to be coachable and how to be a part of a community that contributes first.
Okay, I'm sorry that I lied. I have to literally ask one more question, really,
right.
really, the last actual question. So you saying that just made me, like, so if, like I don't know, I'm trying to grow a business. I love RSD, I want RSD to grow, but like just anyone, like, because RSD Nation's a real thing. Like, you know, me, my friends, we're like all into RSD. We all love game. We all in the inner circles, you know, we watch the videos, we go out. How can like people that just feel like we've gotten so much value from RSD, like what's a literal thing we should be doing, like to give value back? Because y'all don't ask a lot.
You do a few things.
Y'all really don't ask a lot.
One, stay involved. Two, get RSD programs, learn, helps us grow. Three, you could tell your friends about getting involved. And if you have spare time, you could move to Vegas and work with me directly. Another thing you could do is if you want to be part of my YouTube and allow me to learn from the questions that excite you, volunteer for being interviewed by me or attending my free tour and help Tyler and the rest of our boys create content as well. What I was telling you off camera was that when we look at why our free content is better than other competitors' paid content, it's because we are interacting with you, the customer. We understand you. We were you, and we still are with you, talking to you every day. And that allows us to continually evolve at the times and evolve our content and grow ourselves. We all learn from each other.
For the first 2 years, I was one of those people, I don't need to buy products. I don't need to go to free tour. I could get girls. No, it's insane. Like, the products are insane. Like, I'm going to just be buying RSD products my whole life. Like,
go to our programs, meet us in person.
Yes. Thank you so much.
Cool.
This
Thanks, man.
was amazing. I'm so glad I got to do this.